At 27, Elon Musk sold his first company. By 36, he was running 2 companies that were not only challenging the status quo, but reinventing entire industries with products that had never been tested before. By 51, he was leading 6, while most CEOs would barely survive running just 1.
Breaking news to bring you, and this is big. Starbucks' CEO Lakshman Narasimhan is now stepping down as CEO and director. That is effective.
News from Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun will step down at the end of this year.
How did he do it?
And the fact that he does them all simultaneously, that he's involved in the Boring project, he's involved in Tesla and SpaceX all simultaneously, and Tesla Home, solar, all the solar panels and the making solar tiles for roofs, and he's doing so many different things at the same time. It's almost impossible. I don't understand how he does it.
Yeah, I've seen him do it, and I still don't understand it. You know, it's like I kind of burn myself out just trying to do one of those things.
Yeah.
He does all of them.
Here's the kicker. Aside from Zip2, all his companies are what's called unicorns, meaning they're each valued at over $1 billion. This isn't the story of your average entrepreneur. The real question is, how did he do it? How did he go from 0 to billionaire in record time? Chapter 1, How Young Elon Learned Everything. Elon Musk didn't have it easy as a kid. The guy had no silver spoon. In fact, he was bullied to the point where he had to get surgery. He wasn't the popular kid. But if you look at him now, it's clear that adversity didn't break him. It made him.
He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
As a child, one thing that set Elon apart was his obsession with reading. He didn't just skim books, he devoured them. Fiction, comics, non-fiction, nothing was off limits. How about The Lord of the Rings, Foundation by Isaac Asimov, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein, and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
As a teenager, Elon didn't have many friends, but he read all the time, through the night. I couldn't get him up in the morning. He read a lot of science fiction. He would read through the night until he saw me getting up, and then he would go to sleep. And then, of course, I had to dress him while he was half asleep and get him to school. His father had the Encyclopedia Britannica. I couldn't afford books. I mean, he'd read everything in the library in Durban, so he had the opportunity to actually read the whole encyclopedias. I could call him anytime and ask him any subject, anything in the world.
At just 10 years old, he ran out of books in his local libraries, and the bookstore couldn't keep up either. So, what did Elon do? He turned to the Encyclopedia Britannica. And this wasn't just casual reading. He would absorb information like a sponge, to the point where his mother would say, "Ask Genius Boy," because whatever the question was, Elon had the answer. Distance from Earth to the Moon? Ask Elon. He knew it. But all this reading did come with its drawbacks. He wasn't making many friends. Elon was the type of kid who always had to correct everyone around him. Kids didn't like that. He'd interrupt their fun with unsolicited facts and, well, it didn't win him any popularity contests.
Elon was a good reader very early on. So Elon was very keen on reading about Napoleon, about Alexander the Great. And he even had a copy of Napoleon's last will and testament, which is in French. People would say to him, are you reading that big, thick book, little boy? Some idiot would say to him. And Elon would say, what, are you stupid? Do you think I'm just looking at the pictures or what, you know?
They told him, you're not fun. And he knew it, but he didn't care. Why? Because in his mind, this was all leading somewhere. He just didn't know where yet. By age 12, after an existential crisis, he dug into more serious texts, reading the Bible, the Quran, Hindu scriptures, and German philosophers.
When I was, about 11 or 12 years old, I had somewhat of an existential crisis because there just didn't seem to be any meaning in the world, no meaning to life. And so I actually read try to read all the religious texts.
Yet the book that really hit him was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Why? Because it flipped everything on its head. In the book, the meaning of life is simply 42. But it wasn't about finding answers. It was about asking the right questions. Elon realized that life wasn't about finding definitive answers. It was about figuring out the right questions. Chapter 2, How Adult Elon Continues to Learn Everything. When Elon started SpaceX, he didn't know a thing about rockets, but that didn't stop him. He hired people who were smarter than him, people like Jim Cantrell, a former NASA engineer, and Tom Mueller, a rocket engine designer. But here's the thing. Elon didn't just ask them for answers, he learned. He borrowed books on rocketry and began to devour them. Then he'd ask questions like, why did you do it that way? At first, his employees thought Elon was testing their expertise, but soon they realized he was learning from them. He was figuring out rocket science as he went. Through books and questions, he became a self-taught rocket scientist.
How did you get the expertise to be the chief technology officer of a rocket ship company?
I do have a physics background. That's helpful as a foundation. And then I read a lot of books and talked to a lot of smart people.
You're self-taught?
Yeah.
It's the kind of story that makes you question everything about traditional education. How did he cram all this knowledge into his head? One word, reading. Reading for Elon isn't just a hobby, it's a superpower. And here's where it gets interesting. Elon doesn't just read and forget, it's all about applying that knowledge. He applies everything he reads, which is why he's running not one, not two, but 6 companies across diverse industries. Most people think knowledge is power. Elon doesn't buy it. Why? Because knowledge is useless unless you apply it. Applied knowledge is power.
But I encourage people to read a lot of books. Just read, basically try to ingest as much information as you can, and try to also just develop a good general knowledge. So you at least have like a rough lay of the land of the knowledge landscape. Try to learn a little bit about a lot of things. Because you might not know what you're really interested in. How would you know what you're really interested in if you at least aren't like doing a peripheral exploration of broadly of the knowledge landscape? And talk to people from different walks of life and different industries and professions and skills and occupations. Like just try to learn as much as possible.
Chapter 3, How I Applied Elon Musk's Learning Method to Improve My Life. So I started reading. A lot. I took a page out of Naval Ravikant's playbook. Read what you love until you love reading. So I started with fiction. Whatever grabbed my attention. And that became a habit. Once that habit kicked in, I found myself diving into psychology, finance, business, entrepreneurship, marketing, and technology. I've even set a goal to find my top 100 books of all time. Here's the thing. It's not about reading a ton of books for the sake of a number. It's about reading the best books and rereading them. The most successful people I know aren't counting how many books they've read. They're deeply engaging with the best. Now the real question, how do you find the time to read? Here's what I do. I block out 1 hour every day for reading, first thing in the morning or last thing at night when everything's quiet. It's non-negotiable. If I miss it, I'm not happy. But it doesn't end there. I take every opportunity to read. Waiting in line, Kindle out. At the airport, Kindle out. On the bus, same thing. Why? Because I'm serious about learning. I never let an opportunity slip by. And let's be real, if you don't have a Kindle yet, get one. It's a game changer. And if you decide to buy one, use the link in the video description. It helps support the channel. But here's the most important part. Apply what you learn. It's not enough to just fill your head with facts. If you're not using what you've learned, you're not growing. I've learned this the hard way. Books don't just sit in your brain. Take them, break them down, and make them actionable. Here's the truth. The learning doesn't stop after school. You want to climb the career ladder? You've got to keep learning. It's your responsibility as an adult. and that's how you move forward. Your support means the world to us. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. If you enjoyed this one, you're going to love the next one we've picked just for you, right here on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.